The late afternoon sun spilled through the diner windows, casting long golden rays across the checkered floor. Emma sat in her usual corner booth, her leg braces resting against the seat, the metal glinting under the lights. She always came at this hour, when the lunch crowd was gone and the dinner rush hadn't started yet. It was her safe time, the quiet hour when she could enjoy a milkshake, read her book, and pretend the world outside wasn't so cruel. But today it wasn't quiet. The bell above the diner door jingled sharply, announcing the arrival of 3 teenage boys, loud, disruptive, and already laughing at something that probably wasn't funny. Everyone in town knew them, Dean, Kurt, and Malik, known troublemakers, known bullies, known cowards. Emma noticed them too, her stomach tightening. She kept her eyes fixed on her book, hoping they wouldn't notice her. Her hope lasted exactly 8 seconds. "Hey, look who it is," Dean said loudly, elbowing Kurt. "The metal girl." Kurt snickered. "What's up, robo-legs?" Emma swallowed hard. She didn't respond. She never did. Responding made things worse. Silence, she hoped, might make them lose interest. The boys sauntered over anyway. Dean grabbed the book from her hands and flipped it upside down. "You reading this trash? What's it even about?" "Give it back," Emma whispered. "What?" Malik cupped his ear. "Speak louder, didn't catch that." Emma's heart thudded painfully. Her hands trembled under the table. Dean tossed her book to Malik, who tossed it back like a toy. Each throw made her chest tighten. This wasn't new. They tormented her at school, outside the grocery store, even on the bus once. Her mother always told her to ignore them, that they were just insecure boys looking for attention. But ignoring didn't help. When the book finally fell to the floor, Dean leaned closer to her, his voice low and taunting. "Say something, or are you too slow for that too?" Kurt burst out laughing. Emma felt tears sting her eyes. "Please, just leave me alone." Dean smirked. "There she speaks." Then, without warning, he slapped her across the face. The sound echoed through the diner, clean, sharp, unmistakable. Emma gasped, her hand flying to her cheek. Heat bloomed under her palm. The slap wasn't just physical. It was humiliation, pain, fear, everything she tried so hard to hide. A few customers gasped. The waitress, Nora, froze between tables. She knew these boys well. She'd thrown them out before. But today the diner had only one other cook in the back, and the manager was gone. The boys were bold when no authority figure was near. "Hey," Nora said sharply. "Enough, all of you out." Dean turned, smirk unwavering. "Relax, lady, we're just playing." "That's not playing," Nora snapped. "Out now." Kurt rolled his eyes. "Come on, let's go before Granny here calls the cops." Malik snorted, like she'd dare. They started heading toward the door, laughing loudly as if they'd just done something hilarious instead of disgusting. Emma pressed her fingers to her burning cheek. She wanted to disappear, to sink into the seat and vanish. Nora hurried over, her face full of worry. "Oh, honey, are you okay? Should I call your mom?" Emma shook her head quickly. "No, please don't. It'll only make things worse." Nora felt her heart twist. This wasn't right, none of it. The boys left, the bell chiming mockingly behind them. Nora watched them through the window as they swaggered down the street, still laughing. Emma's milkshake sat in front of her, half melted. Her book lay open on the floor. Her cheek throbbed with a rising welt. For a moment, no one spoke. Then the bell jingled again. A man walked in, leather vest, boots heavy, beard thick, tattoos climbing up his arms like vines. He scanned the diner calmly before walking to the counter. Then 2 more walked in, then 5, then 8. Within seconds, the diner filled with bikers. Nora blinked, Emma stiffened, the customers fell silent. The man at the counter smiled politely. "Even in. Hope it's not too late for a meal." But no one knew the storm these men were about to bring. The diner felt too small for the sudden crowd of bikers. They moved with a surprising gentleness, nodding to the customers, helping each other with chairs, making space where there was almost none. Their vests red iron Brotherhood MC. They weren't one of the dangerous gangs people whispered about. They were known more for charity rides and toy drives, but their presence was still intimidating to anyone who didn't know them. The man who seemed to be the leader, broad shoulders, silver streaks in his beard and eyes sharp as steel, sat at the counter. His name stitched into his vest, read Ryder. Nora approached him cautiously. "Welcome in. What can I get started for you gentlemen?" Ryder looked at her kindly. "Ma'am, we're not here to cause trouble, just hungry after a long ride." "Oh no, of course, take your time." But Ryder wasn't looking at the menu. His gaze had shifted to Emma in the corner booth. Her reddened cheek, her trembling hands, the overturned book on the floor. He noticed everything. Emma tried to hide her face behind her sleeve, but it was too late. Ryder stood and slowly approached her table, stopping at a respectful distance. "You all right, sweetheart?" he asked gently. Nora stepped in quickly. "She's fine, just had a rough moment." She didn't want to drag the bikers into it. Emma shook her head. She didn't want attention, not from the bullies, not from anyone, especially not from a biker gang. Ryder crouched a little to meet her eye level. "Someone hurt you?" The question hung in the air. Emma swallowed. It doesn't matter." Ryder's jaw tightened. "It matters to me." Her voice came out barely above a whisper. "Just some boys from school. They slapped me. It happens a lot. I don't want any trouble." Ryder's eyes hardened, but his tone stayed soft. "Trouble, not for you to worry about. Not today." He stood and walked back to his group, murmuring something barely audible. The bikers turned their heads toward Emma, then toward the window. Outside, the three boys were loitering near the convenience store across the street, laughing loudly, as if they owned the world. The bikers exchanged looks. Nora rushed over, waving her hands frantically. No, please, I don't want any problems. They're just kids. Let the police handle it." Ryder gave her a reassuring smile. "Ma'am, we're not gonna hurt anyone, we don't touch kids." Then, glancing at Emma's cheek, his expression darkened. "But we do believe in teaching lessons." Before Nora could protest again, the bikers moved as one, calm, controlled, almost disciplined. 10 men stepped outside, their boots thudding steadily against the pavement. Emma's heart pounded. "Please, I didn't want this." Nora held her hand. "It'll be okay." Across the street, the boys noticed the bikers approaching, their laughter dying instantly. Dean straightened, trying to look tough. Can we help you?" Ryder stepped forward, towering over them but keeping his voice calm. "You boys just slapped a girl." Dean blanched. What girl?" "The one in the diner with the braces." Ryder crossed his arms. "You left a mark." Kurt swallowed. We were just—" "Let me tell you something," Ryder interrupted. "The world's full of tough guys, but real tough men don't hit people who can't fight back." Malik stammered. "We didn't mean." "You did." Ryder leaned in, voice low but deadly serious. "And now you apologize." Dean scoffed, though his voice trembled. "We're not apologizing to some." Ryder didn't touch him. He didn't have to. He simply snapped his fingers. And suddenly, 8 bikers stepped forward in perfect unison. Dean's bravado vanished instantly. Okay, we'll apologize." Ryder nodded once. "Good, polite-like." Shaking, the boys followed the bikers back into the diner. Customers had stopped eating, forks frozen in midair. Emma's eyes widened with fear as the boys approached. Ryder gestured, "Go on." Dean swallowed. "Emma, I'm sorry." The words nearly choked him. Kurt mumbled, "Yeah, sorry." Malik nodded, not meeting her eyes. Emma stared at them, stunned. Part of her wanted to shrink to avoid attention, but another part, small and quiet and buried for years, felt something else. Strength. "You shouldn't hurt people," she whispered. Dean nodded quickly. We won't ever again." Ryder clapped his hands once. "Good. Now go home before I call your mamas and tell them what you did." That line alone nearly made Dean faint. They scrambled out of the diner so fast they nearly tripped over each other. When the door closed behind them, silence returned. Emma looked up at Ryder, voice soft. "You didn't have to do that." Ryder smiled. "Sweetheart, sometimes people just need reminding how to behave." He returned to his seat at the counter. The bikers ordered their food like nothing happened. But Emma couldn't stop staring at them. For the first time in a long time, someone had stood up for her. Not because they had to, because they wanted to. 10 minutes passed, then 20. The diner returned to its usual rhythm, though an air of awe lingered. The customers whispered about what they'd seen, how 10 bikers had walked in like a force of nature, stood up for a disabled girl, and then quietly ordered pancakes like gentlemen. Emma's milkshake had melted completely. She pushed it aside and took a deep breath. Her cheeks still hurt, but something inside her felt lighter, as if the weight she'd been carrying for years had shifted just a little. Ryder finished his meal and wiped his beard with a napkin. Then he walked back to Emma. "You remind me of my niece," he said kindly. "She used to get pushed around too, until she learned something important." Emma tilted her head. "Learned what?" "That strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's just surviving another day." He paused. "But you don't have to do it alone." Emma's eyes glistened. "I wish I was stronger." Ryder shook his head. "You're stronger than the boys who hit you. You think it takes strength to pick on someone weaker? Nah." He pointed to his chest. "Strength is here and here." He tapped her head gently. "Not in fists." Emma smiled faintly. One of the younger bikers approached, tattoos covering his arms but his expression soft. "Hey kid, what's your favorite color?" Emma blinked. Purple." The biker grinned and reached into his vest pocket, pulling out a small patch shaped like a shield. It was purple with silver embroidery. "This is our honorary patch, means you're under our protection." He handed it to her gently. "You ever see trouble, you show this. People around here know our symbol." Emma stared at it stunned. "Really, for me?" "Yep," he said proudly. "You're tougher than you think." She held the patch like it was precious, her fingers brushing over the embroidery. Another biker, a woman with sharp eyes and a warm smile, stepped over. "And don't let anyone make you feel small. People like them pick targets, but people like you rise." Emma felt her chest warm. The sting on her cheek seemed to fade. The bikers finished their meals and stood up to leave. Nora handed them the bill, but Ryder pushed it back. "Ma'am, keep the change," he said, sliding a stack of bills across the counter, far more than the meal cost. "And take care of the girl." Nora's eyes softened. "Always." Before leaving, Ryder bent down one last time toward Emma. "If those boys bother you again, you call us. The Brotherhood rides for justice." Emma nodded, holding back tears. "Thank you." The bikers walked out, boots thumping in rhythm. The bell jingled faintly as the door closed. Emma watched them mount their motorcycles, gleaming, powerful machines lined up like soldiers. Ryder started his engine, its roar shaking the air. One by one, the others followed, filling the street with thunder. Before riding off, Ryder lifted 2 fingers in a small salute toward the diner window. Emma raised her hand in return. Then they rode away, leaving nothing but the fatting echo of engines and something Emma hadn't felt in years. "Hoping." Nora returned with a soft smile. "You okay, sweetheart?" Emma nodded, her hand resting on the purple patch. "Yeah," she whispered, "I think I'm going to be." For the rest of the evening, people approached Emma with gentle smiles, offering support, telling her she was brave. Some had witnessed the slap. Others had witnessed the apology. All had witnessed the bikers standing up for her. But what mattered most wasn't what they did. It was what she finally believed inside herself. Later that night, Emma stood in front of her bedroom mirror, touching the faint mark on her cheek. It hurt, yes, but not the way it once had. For the first time, the pain didn't feel like weakness. It felt like survival. She pinned the purple patch to her backpack, not as a shield, not as a warning. As a reminder that kindness existed, that strength existed, that she had worth. The next day at school, whispers followed her as she walked through the hallway. The bully's humiliation had already spread. Word traveled fast in a small town. Dean avoided her eyes. Kurt pretended she wasn't there. Malik walked the other way entirely. Emma kept walking, her head a little higher than usual. At her locker, a few girls approached her. "We heard what happened. Those bikers, wow. Are you okay?" For the first time, Emma didn't shrink. "I'm okay," she said with a soft but steady smile. "I'm stronger than I thought." And she was. She would always remember the slap. But she would also remember the moment a group of strangers walked into a diner and changed everything. Because an hour after she was hurt, justice walked in wearing leather jackets, and kindness rode on the back of